The team are now on West Avenue. They went by here earlier this morning and warned the Jeepneys that they're not meant to make a terminal here, because last week they verified and no one was able to show that they have a permit to convert these public parking spaces into a terminal. Even though they gave them a warning this morning, they're still here, they're still doing the same thing. So now they're being issued tickets. What some Jeepney drivers showed is a barangay clearance saying they're allowed to have a temporary terminal inside the nearby gas station, and that's why the Jeeps are now going inside the gas station, because where they are right now is outside on the public parking spaces. Good morning everyone, MMDA back on the road. Right now they're in Bahay Toro. There's been a complaint about illegal parking around this school area. So the enforcers are writing out tickets now to vehicles they consider to be illegally parked. And you see right now this lady's rushing to clear the sidewalk before the sidewalk monitoring team come in. This gentleman's even in his underwear trying to remove the motorcycles before they get a ticket for illegal parking. This is the corner of Road 18 and Road 12. That lady got into a dispute because the sidewalk monitoring team tried to remove the ladders from the sidewalk. It seems like apparently these chickens are also subject of the complaint. Before the team operate in an area like this, they coordinate with the barangay and any other local traffic authority that might be operating here. So they already know in advance. They were told that there's no parking allowed both sides. And of course it's not just vehicles in the road, it's also vehicles obstructing the sidewalk. That's why those guys are walking in the road. It's actually amazing that there's still some sidewalk here, because a lot of the sidewalk in this area was already overtaken. Residents just extended their property over it. And the tow trucks are actually now coming in for those vehicles that didn't have a driver. That driver is adjusting one of his vehicles so that it's parked parallel or sideways. And that same driver is now trying to move this vehicle, so I guess both of them belong to him. And this is how it looks after he moved both cars. The sidewalk is now passable. Not very comfortable because it's at an angle. It's more like a parking ramp, but it is passable. And this vehicle across from the Bahay Toro barangay building is now going up on the tow truck. You see couple of vehicles over there obstructing the sidewalk also. That's why the pedestrians are in the road. Of course, if the barangay remove all this junk over here, they would have somewhere to park, or people who visit them would have somewhere to park without having to obstruct the sidewalk. So it's a pretty easy thing to fix. Just take all this garbage to the dump. Right now they're issuing tickets on Rest Haven Street to illegally parked vehicles. You'll see this vehicle is fully obstructing the sidewalk, partially obstructing the road. And I could be wrong, but I think this one might have been ticketed the last time the team were here also. And the enforcer just put the ticket under the windscreen wiper of this one, fully obstructing the sidewalk. Unattended illegal parking is 2,000 pesos. If it gets picked up by the tow truck, it's even more expensive. Some drivers already came out and showed their license. That means they get the cheaper ticket, which is 1,000 pesos, and obviously they don't get towed away as long as they can show a valid driver's license. Aside from issuing tickets for illegally parked vehicles, they've also flagged down those two riders for not wearing crash helmets. Same thing over there, that rider was flagged down not wearing a crash helmet. And it's not just private vehicles parked for residential purposes, it's also big commercial vehicles like this one. And you'll see one of the tow trucks backing up now to pick up this vehicle. There's no license plates and it says it's for sale. And I guess that they might have just crossed into Aguilar Street based on that. They already wrote out a ticket to that motorcycle for illegal parking, and now the driver's moving it. One more motorcycle over here, ticketed for parking on the sidewalk. Further along the road, there's also a tricycle parked here. Some motorcycles up ahead and a bunch of cars. I don't know if the sidewalk was always this narrow, but obviously it's still a sidewalk obstructed by this motorcycle. It's calling in the tow truck now because no drivers come out to take a ticket. And across the road next to the sign it says no parking, the towing crew hooking up to this red vehicle. And you'll see the towing crew now lifting that motorcycle over to the tow truck. No one came out to show a license to take a ticket, so it gets impounded. And over here you'll see another sidewalk that was converted to VIP garages for these two vehicles. Not only obstructing the sidewalk, but even the road. Look at this. They've already written out a ticket to this motorcycle parked in the road. So they're asking for the license if he wants to take a ticket instead of being impounded. Aside from turning the road into a parking area, they also turned it into a farm. It's meant to be a road. The tree should be cut back. The sidewalk should be cleared. The road should be cleared. Look at this one. There's not even a license plate, so that'll probably go straight on the tow truck. There were a lot of people standing around watching the team. Not until they connected the tow bar that they actually said, "Hey, I'm the driver. Why are you towing that?" And then the lady was complaining. She said, "We weren't informed that there'll be a clearing operation." Even if you don't know there's a clearing operation, it's still a no parking zone. The sidewalk is not a VIP garage. And they're writing out a ticket now. Unfortunately, the rider and passenger aren't wearing crash helmet. They do have a license though. It looks like the red one also went on the back of the tow truck. I think there might be a small scuff mark on the front bumper. And you see the towing crew also hooking up to the orange one. Actually, one of the neighbors came out. He said he's been complaining to the barangay regularly, but they won't take any action. So he said, "I hope that Mr. Nabria and his team will come here regularly." And I said, "Hopefully, but there's a lot of streets to clear." So in an ideal world, there will be more action from the barangay. The team are now looking at this vehicle considered to be illegally parked, and for some reason there's no license plate or conduction sticker on the front, and the plate on the back is unreadable, so you would really wonder why you drive around like this. And it looks like the towing crew are getting ready to lift up this car parked on the sidewalk. It's actually obstructing access to these fire hydrants. And the towing crew hooking up to this one now. Apart from it being a sidewalk, I would assume this was put here by the building owner. No parking, pick up and drop off only. Sometimes I ask drivers, why do you prefer to park on the road or the sidewalk instead of inside? And if it's a condo building, sometimes they'll say, "Oh, there's no spaces available." But a lot of the time what they'll say is, "It's too expensive to park inside." If you cannot afford to pay for the parking, probably it's not the right time to own a car, because that is a responsibility of owning a vehicle. They're flagging down that one now for coding, and I can actually see he's also using his cell phone. The truth is, a lot of enforcers don't want to give a ADA ticket or Anti-Distracted Driving Act because it's 5,000 pesos. They feel bad for the driver. Unlike NCAP, where you cannot beg for forgiveness, you cannot plead with the camera operator. If they catch you on the phone, they're really going to issue you a ticket. Here you'll see another fire hydrant, and directly next to it is a tricycle. No plate on the back, obviously. For a long time, the MMDA had solved this problem. They had ticketed and told them a bunch of times, spoke to them, and finally they stopped parking here. But I guess now they've decided it's a good place to park again. So you'll see the towing crew are about to load that tricycle on the back of a flatbed. And the towing crew are now hooking up to this one. Again, it has a plate holder that makes the plate face down at the ground. Wow, interesting lights. And just behind that, they're hooking up to this blue one. Both of them are being towed away for illegal parking. And if you're wondering about signages, just take a look on the post over there. You'll see that it says no parking, both sides, towaway zone. There goes one of the cars now. I'm amazed nobody came out. It's been a long time. They're now looking at this SUV parked on the road, no driver inside. See, the sidewalk was turned into a barbecue area. And the towing crew are now hooking up to this van. It's actually parked on a sidewalk. There's no driver inside. They tried speaking to the guards, but until this point, there's still no driver. That's the effect of parking the van on the sidewalk. Adults, children have to walk in the road, but it will be gone in a few moments because it's already on the tow truck. Usually they find motorcycles parked here, They've towed away many motorcycles in this exact location. But today it's a van.